How's it? Today is Thursday, May 1st. I don't really know what's going on right now. Um Yesterday was Wednesday. Normally I do a clean and jerk day on Wednesday, but I've just been so exhausted lately that I overslept and like I made a decision to not go in when I woke up. I had a client at 11 o'clock, so I woke up at like 9 something and was like, okay, I don't have enough time to go in. I planned to wake up a lot earlier. I planned to wake up at 6, but I just didn't do it. And then I brought all my stuff to work at the restaurant. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll just go after the restaurant. But that didn't pan out because I was the closer and that wasn't fun. So I decided to just come in today and try to just do the squat thing all over again. But it did not go well. It very, 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 very poorly. And at this point, like, what can you expect? I've tried a lot of things for it. The reason why I wanted to try again was because on Tuesday, those reps at 157, like the first two reps on most of those sets were actually really solid. So in my head, I'm thinking if I just have reps that are solid from the beginning and just want it a little bit more, I'll be able to do the 5.5s at 157. But you'll see today, like, it just doesn't go the way I expected it to. That was 140, this is 150, and like, it doesn't move the way that it did on Tuesday. And that's to be expected. I'm super tired. I Yeah, this is a set at 157. I basically missed yesterday because of how tired I've been lately, and it's kind of all catching up to me. I don't know why I've been so. I kind of do know why I've been so attached to this. It's because I really, really wanted to make sure that I could actually finish this. That was my big goal. I feel like I was stacking up all of these W's and all this stuff and building momentum, and then it just kind of fell apart like 2 weeks ago. I guess last week, sorry. This here is my attempt to do the 5.5s at actually a lower weight. So I decided to take 85% off of 180 rather than 185, and the two sets at one, or the two reps at 154 was just not it. It was just super hard. So it's like, okay, like, what can I do moving forward? And I think the remainder of today, after those really, really bad squats, was just trying to be happy with the training. And honestly, I got to a point, I missed a ton of snatches, but I got to a point where I was just like, okay, here we are. Just try my best to make the best out of a poor situation. And my goal for snatches today was just to hit up to 90 and clean and jerk up to 120. Those are my two number goals. And I did both of those actually, like, on first try. So that's a big positive. Here is 80, my last warm up at 80. And then I went to 90. And like, because 90 actually moved pretty well, I decided to try to go to 100. And I missed 100. I don't know. I don't want to say. I mean, I know how many times I missed it, but I don't want to say it before the video goes. But I missed them all, like a lot of them, and each of them are actually get closer and closer and closer to mix until I get to the eighth one. Oh, sorry, that's a spoiler alert. Until I get to my last attempt, and my last attempt was just not very convincing. So I moved on to clean and jerks. But I feel like, I don't know, like, I'm looking at these lifts and it's just like, usually I would get very frustrated with me missing all of these, but I was so like mentally over it that I was like, I'll just keep trying as long as I don't get hurt, like, we're good. And I didn't get hurt, so we're good. But yeah, there was actually a guy there, his name's Hao. um he was cool. That's my, like, I met him a few weeks ago, but today was like the first time I lifted with him, like next to him, and he was just like, yeah, like if you don't get on the third one, I don't know anybody who can get on the fourth try. And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then I missed it on my fourth try, and I was like, yeah, you're right. But then I watched the video back, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep trying, and I'm gonna keep trying, I'm gonna keep trying. And this here is my last attempt, because that's the one that was just not. It wasn't getting better. It wasn't getting closer. So I moved into my clean and jerks here. Did my real classic 60, 100, and then 120 for my warm up. 60 to 100, I can do basically one set. If somebody was loading the weights for me, I could probably do it unbroken. But yeah, so 100 here. And then actually I do 120 twice, because my first rep at 120 was borderline press out. And so I was like, okay, I want to try to end on a good, more strong note. And so that's what we did for that here. So here's my 120, my first attempt. And it's really hard to see from this angle, but my right elbow, I believe, is... you can actually see it there. But yeah, my right elbow was quite press outy. Press outy. So I attempted again, and then... Oh, there he is, Hal. He's cool. Super funny. But yeah. Like, I think my mental is actually really strong today. Just because I got to the point where I was so over it that nothing mattered, which is not good, but I didn't like give up, and that is saying quite a bit, I think, because in the past, I would give up on a lot of things, just because I just wasn't there mentally, and I feel like today would be one of those days where that might be the case, but yeah, I'm okay with it. I think this is gonna mark the end of my Russian squat routine for right now. I do definitely want to try and come back and do this in the future, when things are a little bit better, like sleep wise and scheduling wise. But for now, that's the end of this saga. And the goal at the end of the day was to get stronger, and I am definitely stronger than I was 5 weeks ago. So yeah, I achieved my goal, but not in the way I wanted to. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shoots.